Hi, and thank you for joining today's Meet MobileCoin. I'm your host, Colin Lowenberg. I'd like to introduce our special guest for the day, Jack Finio. Jack Finio from sFOX is the head of product. We also have Dustin Boyer from MobileCoin, our global ambassador. Thank you for joining us, Dustin and Jack. How are you guys doing this morning?
Very
I'm
good.
doing
Thank you,
great.
Colin.
I just, as global ambassador, my job is to travel the world and talk to people about MobileCoin. And that means that I actually woke up in the Bahamas this morning. I'm at the SALT and FTX conference, so no complaints on my end.
I am FOMOing a little bit. I'd love to be in the Bahamas with you. I'd also love to start buying MobileCoin using sFOX. So I'm really excited about today's conversation. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about sFOX and about also maybe Dustin, you can tell us about how this partnership came to be. I'm going to step away and let you guys lead.
Great. Well, Jack, I'd like to kick things off by asking you, what is sFOX?
Yeah, of course. So sFOX is a institutionally focused crypto prime dealer. We give institutions access to global liquidity, custody, and a number of other institutional features and services for the crypto space that really attempt to make it easy for larger institutions and high volume traders to enter the space and reach scale within crypto. Crypto is incredibly fragmented, both in liquidity and the services that are offered within the space. So sFOX tries to bring that all together in kind of one single access point.
You used a word there that I'm not familiar with. What is a prime dealer? A phrase, I guess.
Yeah, of course. So a prime dealer, and I think this is helpful to kind of compare this to an exchange. An exchange is essentially a matching engine, right? You are matching buyers and sellers on a platform, but matching them directly. A prime dealer acts as more of a central counterparty, and in doing so, we're able to kind of offer a similar kind of exchange-like experience, but provide our users with access to a much broader access point to the crypto space overall. So, for liquidity, for example, we connect to the largest exchanges, OTC market makers in the crypto space today. We stream in all of their liquidity into a single aggregated order book, and our users get access to all of those liquidity providers in a single connection, single onboarding experience. And what that means for the user is we're able to provide much deeper liquidity, a much more reliable experience, and provable best price execution, right? One exchange does not always have the best price for your trade over another. And so acting as this prime dealer really simplifies the workflow and operations for an institution in crypto.
Nice. And you said sFOX offers deeper liquidity. What does that mean functionally? Does that mean there are better prices? What happens, for example, to an exchange or another prime dealer that doesn't have deep liquidity?
Yeah, of course. No, it's a great question. Yeah, I think if you look at, let's say, take a hedge fund, for example, right? If you want to be trading, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars at a time, that's going to have a significant impact on the market if you're placing that into an exchange or liquidity source with very low liquidity, right? It's going to impact the price. If you try to buy $10 million worth of Bitcoin or MobileCoin, that's going to significantly impact the price in a single order. So the deeper liquidity that you have, not only are you able to execute larger trades without impacting the price, but for institutions, that means you can operate at scale without impacting performance or your day-to-day operations. You don't have to worry as much about how long it's going to take to execute a larger trade, or the price that you're going to receive at the end of that trade. You can scale up much quicker. And in crypto, that's incredibly important because this liquidity is very fragmented, and a lot of these exchanges or kind of single sources of liquidity don't have that depth natively.
Got it. Okay. And you said that you work with a lot of institutions. I'd love to hear more about those institutions and like who they are and what they are.
Yeah, of course. No, I think it's really businesses that are entering the crypto space. We work with ton of different types of businesses within crypto. This is anywhere from kind of crypto native hedge funds all the way out to banks, payment companies, really any institution that is a multi-member organization. They have a team of their own, and they're kind of dealing with crypto on a day-to-day basis. But it really runs the full gamut of businesses in the space.
Got it. Okay. So, and then also like on a more personal level, like what do you do at sFOX? Like who are you? What's your deal?
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, my title is head of product. Really, what that boils down to is I am on a quest for product market fit every day. And product market fit is essentially just are customers in a certain segment buying a product, telling other people about it. So my goal is to measure whether or not we have that today. If we do, how do we kind of expand from there? And if not, how do we build the products and features that those customers that we're targeting need or want in the space? And really, this defines essentially our product strategy, our product roadmap. What are the new features and kind of new services that we're going to build out in the coming days, months, and years?
Mm-hmm. I actually just saw that. I have really bad internet connection, so I might be glitching right now. The Bahamas is not known for its great bandwidth. But we started the sFOX partnership a few months ago, and then you guys just did a rebrand. And I was curious if you would talk more about that rebrand because I think it looks pretty cool.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's an exciting launch for us. Really, this is a representation of understanding our target markets, refining exactly who we're targeting and who our products really match for, and defining our brand and strategy around that. It was it's always rebranding is always a long process. There's a lot of obviously infinite directions that you could take it, but for us this was a true understanding of the institutional segments that we're targeting, what they need, and trying to show them in kind of their own words, essentially, how sFOX solves their problems or gives them an edge on a day-to-day basis in crypto.
Mm-hmm. And then I also there's a bunch of words that I don't know on your website that I wanted to go through and kind of talk about because I thought they were interesting. Like one of the things that I saw on the website now is that basically the liquidity pool that you guys have reduces slippage. And I'm like, what is slippage and like why do you want to reduce it?
Yeah, of course. And this is going back to our liquidity point earlier. Slippage is essentially the difference between the market price at the time you're placing an order versus the price you're actually receiving for that order. So when you're buying a large chunk of MobileCoin, for example, you might impact that price if it's a large block, and so that price difference between the price of the trade and the price of the market at that time is defined as slippage. And that's a cost, right? That's a non-zero cost when executing a trade. So if you can reduce that, you've essentially reduced the cost and improved the price that the user has received for their trade. And that's where liquidity comes into play. That's where our smart order routing and algorithmic execution really benefit our users. And that's how we're providing kind of provable best price execution on a trade by trade basis to our clients.
Would you explain the smart routing?
Yeah, so smart routing is essentially kind of defining the algorithm for how we execute a trade and where we execute a trade. I mentioned a little bit earlier, sFOX is more than just kind of a single matching engine, a single exchange. We actually connect to global liquidity sources, including exchanges, OTC market makers. And so when you are trading, our smart order routing algorithms determine who we should send either the entire order or pieces of that order to get you the best price and mitigate slippage for every trade. And that can take many forms depending on the order types that you're using. But that's essentially the kind of the underlying logic is, destination and execution.
Got it. So if I understand this correctly, let's say that I've struck it really rich and I've decided that I want to buy 100 Bitcoins, right? Does that mean that you are buying those different, like I put in that order to sFOX and then you go out and you buy those MobileCoin or those Bitcoins on different exchanges and different liquidity providers simultaneously?
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. So we're going to, you put in your order for 100 Bitcoin. We're going to go out into the market to whoever has the best price, the best opportunity to fill that trade and execute that trade for you. But because we're a prime dealer, you as the client only face sFOX as the counterparty, meaning we are settling that 100 Bitcoin with you. It's more of it's kind of value add that we are showing you exactly where we're executing that trade, so and transparently that we're getting you the best price for that trade.
Sometimes the way I think about it is like, imagine that you could have like God mode on all the top exchanges and liquidity providers and just get like the sweetest price right away.
Exactly.
What is IOC?
IOC is one of the order types that we support. So IOC is short for immediate or cancel. So for some of our clients, they are high frequency traders or even arbitrage traders that are taking advantage of price dislocation on our platform. And so what an IOC order does is you as a client will define a price for your order, and we're going to go out into the market and try to fill as much of that order as we can up to that price and cancel the remainder. So for those high frequency traders, for those arbitrage traders, they can essentially say, here's my opportunity level, here's the price limit of that opportunity, get me as much as I can, up to that price and cancel the remainder, because otherwise my trade's not going to be profitable.
Okay. Got it. So that means that you probably support people who, like when you're saying that you do things like IOC and smart routing, that probably means that you have really good interfaces for software engineers to write code that automatically trades. Is that true?
That is our goal, definitely. I think one of our key value props to clients is a single API that gives you access to all of the kind of products and services that sFOX supports. So as a developer, we support REST, WebSocket, and Fix APIs, both for market data, order entry, account management, custody management, wallet management. All of that is in a single integration. So, as a developer or business that's entering the space, it's very beneficial to have all of those pieces in a single API. Right? You can do all of the above, build your crypto business on top of sFOX essentially through those APIs.
What is wallet management?
Yeah, I think we're kind of getting into the custody realm right now. sFOX is a regulated custodian. We just received our trust license from the state of Wyoming, which gives us a fiduciary responsibility to our clients, and we act as a custodian for client assets. We manage the wallets and private keys of those assets and of those wallets for our clients. But what that means as a user is you need a way to generate wallet addresses, manage settlements, deposits, and withdrawals to and from the platform, but also kind of the more operational day-to-day workflow automation that we support on sFOX as well. Our institutional clients, they're not necessarily single person organizations, right? They have team members, and so you never really want kind of a single person at a company to have control over all of the funds for that company, right? You want to define kind of very clear workflow rules. A withdrawal or transfer of X amount of value requires approvals from 3 different officers within the company. So defining kind of those operational rules around your crypto wallets on the platform.
I was talking to this guy at the conference last night, and he was saying that a huge number of he works in like mobile security for like different companies that need audits for their smart contracts. And one of the things that he said is that you can have contracts that are super solid, but there's a huge number of hacks in the crypto industry that are just because people had, like, one of the early developers on a project just, hey, still has the keys to that wallet, and the company never changes it and never bothers to implement multi-signature wallets so that multiple people have to sign off on something happening. And he was like, yeah, it's remarkable. He said that a number which I found personally a little bit dubious, but he said like over 60% of company hacks are just because companies don't implement multi-sig wallets on transactions.
Now, a huge blessing and a curse in crypto, right? It's so easy to kind of iterate on top of what everyone else is doing in the space or finding, new ideas, but that just means there's a ton of new code out there. It hasn't all necessarily been audited. There's only so many auditors in the world. They can only, go through a certain number of contracts. But that's where, we also come in for our clients and try to go through all of these checks, before we say list a token or enter into kind of a relationship like we have with MobileCoin, making sure that the platform is secure for both, our clients and, users of sFOX. But yeah, that's something that we go through with all of the providers and protocols that we work with.
Mm-hmm. I want to also for a second jump back to something that you said earlier. You said that you got your trust license from Wyoming, and I would love to hear more about that. I know there was a bunch of crypto legislative stuff happening in Wyoming, which always struck me as a little bit random, but I'm curious if you'll say more about the trust license.
Yeah, it's a really exciting development for us. We just received our trust license from the state of Wyoming. So we are regulated by the Wyoming Division of Banking under that trust license. But what we're so excited about really is, regulation in the crypto space, especially for institutional clients, has been very gray, especially in the US. It's been very difficult to get kind of clear industry guidelines and rules and regulations around what we can and cannot do within the space. But the state of Wyoming has been very, pushed that forward a lot and given us very clear insights into, as a trust company, here is what you can and cannot do. Here is what you can and cannot offer to our clients. And what that gives us, internally is, very clear kind of guidelines on the products and services that we are allowed to kind of offer to our clients, but also gives a lot more trust to our clients regarding, the fact that we are acting within a very clear regulatory regime. So we're very excited to go through this process with the state of Wyoming, receive that trust license, and now offer regulated crypto custody to those clients, including custody of MobileCoin and other assets that we're supporting on the platform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still just think it's so fascinating that sort of on a federal level, people are like, I don't know what's happening with crypto laws. They're constantly changing. Like, I thought we were going to get something with Biden, but instead it was a federal order that just said, hey, every agency should just like think about crypto more, which I thought was pretty interesting. One of the other things that you said is that sFOX is a fiduciary. And fiduciary has a very specific definition. I'm curious if you would go into that.
Of course, yeah. So through the trust license, our Safe Trust company is regulated as a fiduciary. So meaning we have a responsibility to act on behalf of our clients and for our clients. Our client is essentially the final say. And so that, we take that extremely seriously, meaning, we are securing company funds, we're securing company balance sheets on behalf of those clients and ensuring that we are taking the utmost precaution when it comes to private key security, transaction security. But all of this is, for the benefit of the client, right? At the end of the day, that is who defines what we do for our clients.
I want to get into some of the questions that we're getting from like YouTube and Facebook and stuff like that. Savannah NSH says, how will sFOX cooperate with Mob?
Yeah, so we're very excited to essentially integrate MobileCoin into the sFOX platform, meaning sFOX clients can now custody and trade MobileCoin on the sFOX platform. And what we're so excited about on the MobileCoin side, and what makes us excited about this integration, number one, you guys are a new blockchain and platform within the space. It's which is very exciting for users and clients of sFOX who are very focused on kind of the underlying protocols themselves, and these are the areas that truly make it both exciting to kind of enter the space, but also difficult for these institutions to do so. For every new blockchain that you need to kind of process transactions on, or tokens of that chain that you need to store, that is an entirely separate wallet, separate integration. And so for an institution that is not necessarily crypto native, the fact that on sFOX we can support a number of these different blockchains and tokens from a single platform. I mean, you don't have to build all of that yourself, is extremely attractive. So integrating MobileCoin onto the platform means we are now supporting a much wider set of that portfolio, but also introducing a new area of the space, a new exciting project to our clients, and giving them access to the kind of deeper liquidity and secure custody that sFOX offers on an array of crypto assets.
And then Savannah and SH also asked, like, why did Mob choose sFOX? And I'm happy to answer that. I just think that sFOX is an incredible platform, and we've really liked sFOX for a long time. And as soon as the coin really went global a few months ago on Signal, we were like, hey, we want sFOX to handle this for institutional investors, right? And I think that that's just incredibly important for people who are like, hey, I run a hedge fund and I want to invest in MobileCoin at an institutional scale. And I actually think that sFOX has one of the best arrays of tools to make that happen. Kind of a no-brainer, frankly. What's Savannah and also asks, like, what's the position of sFOX in the market, and what makes sFOX special?
Of course, yeah, I think there's a few things there. So yeah, number one, I think is kind of the initial trust and kind of security that a platform like sFOX offers. We are regulated both in the U.S. and abroad. So for institutions, they can know that they're dealing with a counterparty that is, they're not just offering them kind of the institutional products and features that they need, but also doing so in a regulated and secure way. The second piece is all about kind of outperformance, right? We've talked about connections to global liquidity, best price execution, smarter routing, but also doing so transparently, right? We're not trading against our customers. We are essentially offering access to global liquidity and executing trades on behalf of our clients. And we offer a number of kind of advanced execution features around that, including some of the order types that we talked about earlier, Dustin. And then beyond that, offering the products and services around trading and custody that make the sFOX platform much more capital efficient. Things like prime services, where we can extend kind of credit lines to our customers, ensure that they don't necessarily have to pre-fund their accounts before they're trading, and partner with those institutions to essentially unlock their scale potential, in the crypto asset space.
I want to dive into something that you just said. Actually, wait 1 second, Colin. How long do we have? Are we stopping at 25 or 30?
We can keep going past 30 minutes. A lot of times we make it to 45 minutes as long as there's lots of questions. Okay. And so I encourage everyone to ask questions as much as possible. It looks like there's still more coming in, but yeah, feel free to go over the half hour. I also want to note some questions about the airdrop. We are not doing an airdrop today. But back to you.
Okay, great. I'm going to bookmark the question that I had for you and get to something from the audience. Daniel Hinton asks, how does Mob differentiate from other P2P or privacy-focused protocols? And I would say, I think that's a question for me. I'm also curious what Colin would say to this. Actually, one of the things that Colin, we were talking about this earlier, like I'm in Bahamas right now. And Colin's like, I have FOMO, and often Colin and I go to conferences together. So I always love comparing my answers to things to Colin's answers to things. But so I would say MobileCoin, it differentiates from other peer-to-peer or privacy-focused protocols because the encryption is just a jillion times better. The ristretto curves and the elliptic curve cryptography that we use is vastly more advanced than other privacy-focused protocols. Also, it's way easier to use. I mean, a lot of other cryptocurrencies that focus on encryption, they're pretty slow, and MobileCoin resolves in 5 seconds or less, right? And that's like a practical speed that people actually need to make transactions. And also, lastly, MobileCoin is carbon negative. When I think about the future of the world, I do not want a world that's on fire, and I don't want to work for a company that is actively making the world like a worse place. And so I'm really proud of the work that the engineers have done here.
I'll add, since I agree with everything you said, Dustin. Ease of use is a key thing. Green, being a green company and focused on not building millions of servers to mine our coin is a good thing. Having additional layers of security and protection beyond just our protocol, using our FOG servers is also a great thing that sets us apart. But I think another major thing that sets us apart is that we've really focused on bringing our token to market in the appropriate and proper way, and through compliant and legit sources of on ramps and off ramps. And I think sFOX is a good example of how we're doing that, making MobileCoin more available to US persons and globally accessible on FTX outside the US and on sFOX inside the US. So it's really cool to see a privacy-focused protocol that's available in the US, and I'm really proud to be a part of a company that's building things the right way. And I think sFOX is the right partner to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to jump back into something that you said, Jack. You mentioned this thing about not having to, what was, I forget the exact term you used, but it was like, you don't have to populate your wallet necessarily when you buy coins through sFOX. Can you? And I'm not quite using the right phrasing there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So I think the term I used was prefunding.
Yes.
So yeah. So as an institutional platform, our clients are typically larger organizations. They're also either trying to kind of capitalize on an opportunity that is fleeting when trading, or they're keeping balances in a few different places, but a transaction, whether it's on chain or through a fiat banking system, it takes some amount of time, right? Meaning that opportunity might not be there by the time that transaction comes in, or it'll just disrupt kind of the current day-to-day workflow to kind of move larger amounts of capital around, which means as a platform like ourselves, we need to encourage capital efficiency. And so for our institutional customers who kind of meet certain requirements, we can kind of offer the ability to trade without necessarily having to first deposit funds before you can buy or sell, right? So you don't necessarily have to have 100 Bitcoin on the platform to sell 100 Bitcoin. And what that means is our clients can always capitalize on those opportunities that they see, even though if they don't have all of the funds they need to execute that trade. And for other businesses in the space, especially those that are building businesses on top of sFOX that end up dealing with a set of their own end clients, right? It means they don't have to transfer funds in and out of sFOX for every transaction that one of their end clients does, right? For let's say a trading application or ATM company that is building a business on top of sFOX, they don't have to necessarily move funds every time one of their end users wants to trade or deposit funds. They can kind of do so on a regular schedule, but that really simplifies the operations and improves the user experience for those end clients. Right, they don't have to wait sitting in some kind of buy or sell experience, waiting for that transaction to process, and then they can buy or sell. They can just do so immediately.
Got it. And we've got another question from the audience from Sanavan SH. Sanavan, sorry for mispronouncing your name earlier. Sanavan says, noticing that you talk a lot about security and regulation of sFOX, is sFOX the only company that can meet both?
That's a great question. Yeah, I don't necessarily think sFOX is the only company that can say that they are properly regulated and secure. But at the same time, I also don't necessarily know all of the security protocols and regulations that other companies in the space follow. I think where sFOX differentiates is we always try to be at the forefront when it comes to new regulation or operating within kind of the rules and regulation and boundaries that we do receive from government organizations. And then security is of the utmost importance, right? We talked about that fiduciary responsibility that sFOX has to our custody clients. And that is, again, we are, all of what we do is kind of for benefit of the client. So security is extremely important in both building a trustworthy and long-lasting relationship with our clients, but also giving them kind of the peace of mind that they need to operate at scale.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we've gone a little bit over time. Thanks, Jack, for sticking with us a little bit longer than expected. Colin, I'm going to turn it over to you to kind of close things up. Oh, Colin's on mute.
Thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you, Dustin and Jack. This will be posted on our YouTube for some time. I think we did such a great job. I want to put this up on our developer portal as well, because I think this will help people understand sFOX. If you want to find that website, it's developers.mobilecoin.com. And you can find sFOX's listing now on our website. So they're now an official partner of MobileCoin on our MobileCoin ecosystem. So I'm really proud to see that. And also, if you want to continue the conversation with us, feel free to join our Discord community at mobilecoin.chat. Thank you, Dustin and Jack, for joining today.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you guys for having me. Bye, everyone.